I remember I used to talk to you about, I don't know if I think I told you back in the day, man, when I was a kid, I was kind of like a physics enthusiast. I was reading like Brian Greene and
Yeah.
like about string theory and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, it was just pretty interesting to me, man. And fucking, I never got a, like, if I would have gone and studied like a science, I think it would have been physics. That would have been something that would, you know, kind of interesting.
Yeah. Like astrophysics is pretty cool because you have to like study a bunch of physics. You know, it's not just applied physics. Like you have to know kind of all physics because it's, you know, and some, you know, geology, chemistry and everything because planets, star makeup, you know, electron degeneracy suppressors, stuff like that. But no, I think we used to talk about that when we were looking up at the stars at night in Afghanistan and being like, God damn, you know, like.
Were you guys cuddling?
Yeah, always.
If you're not, what the fuck are you doing out there?
Yeah. It's got to be someone.
Dude,
I mean, shit, there was one time, I remember that first time we helped wash each other on a pallet with the water bottles. You remember that? Yeah. Like I tell people.
Yeah, like we would like fucking, or we would get in that pool too. Remember, we had there's like a big old like a big tank, man, and they cut it in half and they made it into like a tub, right? Like a little pool.
Because they use a pump, and there was a little aquifer below the land. Yeah, and they used like a pump to pull it up into that thing.
Yeah,
that was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some haters took it down.
Yeah.
Not gonna mention any names, but yeah. Yeah, we were like 6 dudes in a tub, man. Like and I'm pretty sure I remember a few people going in there, but I think we all went in there butt ass naked.
At one point, you got to. It just feels nice.
Little sponge bath action.
It's weird. People don't understand like how much different it is having your shit off completely. A pair of shorts and not having shorts on in the water, it feels so much different.
Just the same when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my dick just feels better.
True, man.
Just so nice. Like
except I can't sleep naked because I always think like, what if something happened and I had to get up and go? Like you don't want to see my naked ass running it. Which if someone broke in my house, that'd be kind of funny. See my big fat naked ass coming after him.
You shine a flashlight in your eyes and so you immediately look down and you see a dick.
But like no, I think more like if there was like a fire or something like that. I don't want to have to be but
shit swinging everywhere.
Yeah. That's a lot of the time I just wear like Ranger panties because it's the bare minimum, but it still has some protection, you know. We're not running outside in a loincloth or anything. But
so when's the last time you guys saw each other?
Ranger panty.
Yeah, like 2012.
You haven't seen each other that long?
Alaska, probably.
Yeah, Alaska.
Wow.
2012.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it was yeah. Well, I mean, everyone
I haven't been back.
Sides of the country, you know.
Yeah. Where you live down in Texas?
I live in Corpus Christi.
Okay, yeah.
Corpus Christi, Texas. So it's like we're about I don't know, about maybe 2 hours approximately, like from the border. So yeah, man, it's Corpus. It's hot. Live by the beach, so I go fishing a lot. But it's where I grew up. You know, I actually grew up in Robstown. Robstown's like maybe 15 minutes away, but Corpus is like your bigger city where you kind of find all the jobs and whatnot. So it's a good area. I mean, it's okay area. I'm just used to it. You know what I mean? There's no Fairbanks when it comes to hunting and fishing and whatnot. But
right,
we get by, man. I've been wanting to go visit Kevin.
I know.
Have you ever been to Idaho?
I know, man. I haven't.
Yeah, you should.
What kind of hunting and fishing, I guess, scene do you guys have?
Idaho's kind of known for that.
Yeah, it's an outdoors.
Yeah, it's an
outdoorsman kind of place.
Big time outdoorsy state, especially like the area we live in here, like the Boise area. We're surrounded by mountains on one side and then desert on the other side. So you have all sorts of outdoor stuff around here and a lot of hunting and fishing.
Yeah. No, you just got to do a road trip.
Yeah, man, that's nice.
It only takes like.
Yeah, I want to definitely, you know, I would say that. Yeah.
I was going to say it only takes like 18 days.
I would say that probably Texas. Kevin and, you know. Yeah, I drove to Austin's about Austin's maybe about 3.5 hours maybe. And you're like barely in central Texas, right? So then you still got another, I don't know, a good few hours to get to Dallas or whatnot. So yeah, man, it's a ride. You know, it's a big state. You know, it's got its. I enjoy it. I love Texas.
Mhm.
Definitely, this is somewhere that I want to, I already have, I guess, roots here, but I mean, I definitely want to stay here, but I don't mind like going and visiting friends like you. I definitely want to go visit Kinsler too. Kinsler's, I would say you and Kinsler, he's my old boss in the army, man. Probably the only two guys I really keep up with somewhat consistently. So
Yeah. Yeah. Where's he living now?
yeah. To be honest, I thought he said he was in Louisiana. He's originally
Okay.
from Missouri. I think he's been kind of going here and there for depending on where they need him, right? Because he's still in the army. I think he's about to retire.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So yeah, he's been around there for a while. Yeah, I think it was in Washington. He was in Louisiana, all that stuff, and definitely, actually, I was texting him the other day, man. He was talking about, you know, I think he was talking about joining the border patrol or something to go. I guess he's looking for something after he retires, and I think he's kind of in one of those kind of predicaments that I think a lot of veterans kind of when they get out, sometimes you're like, man, what am I going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you can get out as a goddamn sergeant major and nobody gives a fuck. You're a child all over again. You're like, yeah. What are you gonna do? Manage a Best Buy? Like
yeah,
it sucks, But
that's true.
if you stay in the full time and then you decide you want to go to school, well, now you're going to school at 40, which is nothing wrong with that. I mean, shit, my counselor went to school at like 45. I guess that's just an ego thing, but it still is kind of hard because especially he's got like what 4 kids.
Yeah, man, it's not as easy. Exactly. Even as a single guy, it's still if you're to get out at 40 with no kids or whatnot, you're still gonna, there's some stuff that you're not, you may not have used a lot of these concepts or whatnot. You haven't done algebra, or any of that shit in a long time. So it's
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna have to eat shit for a while.
it is, yeah, man. And you'll see them though, man. Like I went to school, here in Kingsville and graduated, and I saw some guy. I was a little older. I was probably older. I'm pretty sure you're a little older than the average, person getting a bachelor's degree. But there's guys there, man. They're like 50, still getting a degree, man, and they're doing it because they want to come back and it's one of their goals. And that's awesome, man. I think that's awesome. But it's still like it's a little more because there's more obstacles to it, or than somebody who's just straight out of high school or whatnot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you did get your master's, right?
Yeah, man. I got my master. I got my bachelor's degree. I studied psychology. I don't know. At the time, I was, considering going being a cop or whatnot. Actually, yeah, I was considering going being a cop. Then I had a change of heart, and then I was like, man, I need to get a degree in something that I can find a job that's, worthwhile around here. And I studied industrial management at A&M Kingsville, and it helped out. And it was something more practical, something a little bit more practical, I think, for my area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting. I actually, I tell a lot of vets that, I don't know, man, this is for me, because whenever when I went to school, I was kind of having a hard time, like I was drinking a lot, doing kind of like not knowing what I was going to do and whatnot, man. So I ended up going to school, man. And for me, it helped me out a lot, even though some of it's like bullshit or whatnot, but it helped me out a lot, man. I would say it kind of put me back on track, where if I wouldn't have gone to school, I'd probably be doing some dumb shit.
Gave you some goals.
I mean?
Yeah, direction. You had that direction. You have a goal, and
Yeah,
you're like, okay, I'm not just going to be like complacent and sitting in life and just hanging out. Like I gotta, could do something.
Well, we preach about that on here all the time.
Preach.
But no, like it's good to have things to do and things to keep you busy and something to strive towards.
Yeah, because I mean, when considering being in the army for a few years, you become task purpose oriented. What's my goal? Whose ass do I have to kick? What am I doing? And how well am I going to do it? And then you're like, oh no, like now I have to figure out how to do this all on my own. What's my mission? What's my objective? What's my op order? What am I supposed to be doing? Yeah. So it's so much harder sometimes to go from one whole, basically a paradigm shift, it really is. And looking back on it, because I remember you and I were like the same age, you know,
Yeah.
and like we thought we were grown ass men. But when I look at like 22-year-olds now, I'm like, God damn, they're fucking babies. They're babies. They don't know anything. Like, and it immediately like gave me like not flashback, but like that memory of like that one time there's two, like one time like we ran up into that guard tower. I don't want to call it a guard tower. I want to call it's like plywood on Hesco's. It wasn't really a guard tower. And we like deboed it.
Yeah.
I don't know who was in it, but we were just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we don't want you to see what we're doing. And then
I think I know what time you're talking about.
Yeah, we just kicked some dude out of the tower when the cop was taking contact, and then like we didn't even radio anybody. We just
I think you got to try. Oh, somebody got their ass chewed.
I did. I almost got like court-martialed for that. Like, so
I remember that.
Shooting people with binos. Like, why not? Like, but you know, but it's funny is remember who instigated that? It was Captain Martinez, the ODA commander.
Oh, really? I don't remember
next
that.
to us. I can't really see him. You guys you should just shoot his ass. Like, all right. Like,
is that the one you've talked about before where you shot the guy in the collarbone or whatever?
Oh yeah. I told you. Yeah. So
that's funny, man.
That's so funny because like we go back and that new first sergeant we had, Dick.
Yep, Big Dick Rick.
Yeah, Big Dick Rick was like, do you know the max effective range of the M110 SAS, like serial number, you know, yada. I'm like, yeah, I fucking do, bro. Like, shut the fuck up. And I'm pretty good. And I did it offhand. I wasn't like in the fucking prone, you know, wounding people at 500 or I don't know, maybe it's 500 meters. It was like, that was an offhand shot. That was pretty impressive, bro. Like get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah, I know the max effective range. It's 500 meters. Yeah. The max, you know, yeah.
I think he said he was I think he said something like he was just on his phone. We're like, nah, that motherfucker was a foreign observer.
Yeah, he was for sure. We saw the glint on his binos, like he clearly had binos. Yeah, it was on his phone.
Yeah.
And the fact that when he shot, we because you shot at him too, and he didn't move. Like he was like, maybe if I just don't move, they won't see me. Like, and then there was like, and like right around the same.
I mean, the normal person, if you shoot at him, you're gonna fucking move.
Yeah, exactly. That was right around the same time. Like you almost like killed a whole family in a bus or something, like a van. When you were just like, I think you're 800 meters out. You started dropping
the mortar round.
You started dropping mortar rounds like 400 meters out. And there was like a bunch of families trying to escape, and they're in their little vans and like escaping.
A dad in a donkey cart.
Yeah,
in a donkey cart, or something like that. And they were like, hey, so I was like, dude, I'm shooting like handheld. I mean, I got to be able to kind of see what I'm looking at. You're kind of like, we're shooting from the Hescos. I shot from on top of the Hescos or whatnot. And he was like 300 meters, and I was like, he kind of pointed that area. So I kind of just like Kentucky windaged it a little bit and just kind of, just spitballed it. And I was like, all right. So I just dropped it, and then I saw it. It landed probably like, I don't know, 25 meters away from this kid and his dad or whatnot. I was like, oh fuck. I was like, my bad.
My bad.
Fuck, I'm not doing that again. I was like, all right.
Like these people, it's so funny because these people over there are so used to it. Like they're just like, oh man, luckily we didn't die. Like they just get out of there and then they wave at you. Like in America, people have to like recover for years if like someone accosts them in a Walmart parking lot, you know?
Like little different than like a war-torn country.
Right. Yeah. We're just so different people, you know? It's all relative. Yeah. It's some people just, you don't grow up around it. So the littlest things can just blow their whole life up. And then over there, it's like, this is just a fucking Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Like, you know?
Yeah. You know what? They didn't like, I remember that, man. And I remember they weren't like, oh my God, like running or nothing. They just kept going on about their business, man. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Maybe hit the donkey a little bit harder, whip them or something, and they took off. But yeah, that was an interesting day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, man, there's a lot of prison right now.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, I still remember that time. Like, I remember that one time where like, it's just funny how I guess you and I were wired kind of the same way. Remember that one we got into when we were with the commander when I was trying to like go beat up those kids with the kites, but he wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
And then like Johnson was there and he didn't know what to do. And so you and I are like running around putting people in positions. And then we were doing like we cleared some house behind us and stuff. And like, I remembered stuff like that where I was like, God damn, like we were kind of a mess because I remember my first deployment, all the NCOs had their shit together, had a plan, knew what to do. And then we were in firefights and like guys like us who were like junior non-commissioned officers are running around trying to put everything together, you know. And that's not necessarily the way it should have been, you know, but we just had to step up and do it, you know.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Not that there wasn't squared away E6s and stuff. There definitely was. It just wasn't the same as my previous experience, you know. And I just think that's a lot of that's just like as you're going on in the war, more guys get out, and then a lot of guys get promoted really quickly and maybe not ready for it, or I don't know.
I think I saw that. I think I did see that there's guys getting 2.5 years there, E5s or whatnot. And that, I don't know, to me that seems pretty quick. I mean, you know, it's just one of those things that I guess, you know, hopefully they just learn from those experiences and try to kind of not make that same mistake down the road, you know. But
yeah,
who knows, man? I think I got promoted to E5 about 3.5, 4 year mark.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. And then Rich Chandler, I got promoted while I was I went to CAF and I got promoted. I saw I made points, right? It's like, fuck it, I'm gonna wear it. And then I got back and Rick told me, hey, who pinned you? I said, Department of the Army, motherfucker. I was like, what do you mean who pinned me? So like, I guess it's ceremonial that somebody fucking puts the ankle shit. I was like, I'm an E5, the Department of the Army, you know, fuck them.
Yeah. Fuck you, dick.
It is what it is.
How long were you in?
How long was I in? I was in for since 2007 to 2012. So, yeah, man, I went to Iraq. Iraq was really boring for me, though. You know, I think you went to Iraq, right, Kevin?
Yeah, 2008.
Yeah, I actually went around the same time too. I went 08, 09.
Yeah.
For me, it was kind of boring. I mean, I was a mortarman, right? So it's mortar in a depends on what kind of like. So when I was with First Cavalry Division, we were like heavy infantry, right? So we wouldn't go out and do foot patrols with dismounted 60s. You know, with the 11 Bravos or the infantrymen and whatnot. We would just be do hot gun, which is basically we would just be at stationary place, and we'd have big 120 millimeter mortar systems, and people would maybe call in fire or whatnot. So, but we wouldn't do that very often. And Iraq was kind of dying down at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, it was for sure, especially 2009.
So you guys came together after you were both in Iraq. And then you guys went to Afghanistan together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew a few guys for both deployments. They went to like McDonald. Went to basic training together, both deployments. Same with oh my god, I'm having a brain fart. The chubby kid, the funny guy. He's the driver when we got hit by that 180. Adamson. There we go.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I think it's kind of a short dude.
Yeah, Adamson.
I know what you're talking about, man.
The one who
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like right when we went to Afghanistan, he just for some reason told me, he's like, yeah, one day went out to the range and I shot my Kevlar and there's like a bullet hole in it. I'm like, God damn it, you're fucking retarded. So like we deployed this hole in his helmet, dude. And obviously Cook I knew since basic. Right. Yeah. So I guess just those three.
Yeah.
Oh, and Calhoun. Yeah, Calhoun, both deployments. So it's surprising how many guys were both, and kind of stayed around for both. Because a lot of us just didn't get ETS after 3 years. We were just like, we're just going to deploy with everybody again. And do the 5 years thing. Yeah. So that was when we first met. Yeah, it was right when you got there. because I was, I'm trying to remember exactly when it was. But yeah, we didn't talk a whole lot at first, but I was doing my thing, you were doing your thing.
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, I mean, typically, like if we're like we were like headquarters platoon technically, but like
Yeah.
outside of Afghanistan, we wouldn't really interact that much because we have no need. We wouldn't like gather or train together and whatnot. You know what I mean?
No. I always wanted to. I was like, man, let's do PT with everybody. It's like be exciting. I always wanted to work out with like the group and everything, but we'd show up and then, we just have to dip out. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
our choice is like, all right, fine. I guess we're dipping out. I'll go take a nap and I'll work out later. Like, but I was excited to get up in the morning, go do PT and kick everyone's ass, but so was Randy. Fucking
Ranger Rick, Ranger Randy.
yeah. We were talking quite a bit for a while, and then maybe about a year ago, almost we stopped talking again, but he was just trying to get out and everything, I think, and he was still in Italy, I want to say. But yeah, I think he's doing good.
He's a good kid, Randy. He's a good kid, man. Yeah, he's a good kid. I think he got a lot, it doesn't surprise me that he went through Ranger School and was successful and whatnot. He was a, very kind of, I wouldn't say a company man, but he'd do whatever you tell him to do kind of guy,
Yeah.
always willing to learn, do what like to work out, took the shit serious. So
Yeah.
he's a good kid, man. Definitely. I've talked to him several times, but it's been a while. I think he asked me for some advice on something one time. I think like some VA stuff or something like that. But after that, yeah, definitely haven't talked to him in a while. I'll shoot him a text sometime soon.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard to be able to keep in touch with all the guys. Like no matter what, if you come from the military or if you like even go back to high school, it's hard to keep in touch with people when you live in different places and when you go your own paths in life.
Yeah, you're busy, you live in a different place. It's like,
well, like I didn't think you and I would ever come back together the way we have because you were living a totally different life than me for a long time. And it was just coincidence, I think, that we kind of came back together and cuddled it up again,
Yeah, cuddled it up.
No, but I mean, like even after you moved back, we would only see each other when we'd get together with everybody.
Right.
Like watch fights or whatever we were doing. And then 3 years ago, we kind of started getting a little closer again.
Well, yeah, when I came back, I was doing the gym thing so much. That's all I was focused on. So when I did hang out with somebody, it was like Bonito or Brian.
Yeah, well, and that was that was the initial point for me.
Yeah.
And you kind of getting back together as I started going to your gym, but it didn't start till a couple of years after that where we would hang out without everybody else.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, anyways. So yeah, when you go to different ways, man, it's hard, especially if you live in different places. It's hard. Yeah. Really hard to stay in contact.
And then like when you're getting out of the military, like I said, you're eating shit all over again. So it's not like you have money, like, okay, I'm gonna take a vacation and go on a road trip and see my buddies. It's like, no, I'm hustling. I'm trying to get through school, trying to work or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you got to get to a place where like, wow, I'm an adult now again, and I can take some leave, some vacation, and go do stuff like that.
Well, and having the money to travel and shit like that, it's not easy.
Right. But no, that's why I like that. Like, yeah, I think it'd be fun. Like, especially this, summer. Like, I might take one class, but I've been going full time through the summers. To knock this out in 3 years.
You've been fucking jam packed.
Yeah, so I might just do that. So I have time to do that. Like, cool. Let's just go on a road trip. Let's meet up. Let's just fucking drive to the coast, or whatever, and just do something.
Yeah.
Well,
and you've expressed how you want to do like some traveling podcasts.
Yeah.
Be cool to have time to do that and go hit somebody. Like we're going to do one in April, I think it is, or May. We're going over to Utah, but that's close.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. I asked this to our last guest too, because I find it interesting. Why did you join the military? What made you want to go that path?
I think I watched Rambo First Blood.
Dude.
And to be honest, though, I mean, this is kind of stupid, but I mean, I would say stuff like that kind of influenced me. I'm not going to lie. And then my dad was kind of very of a, I don't know, I always felt like it was a macho thing to do, man. And I always felt like it was very patriotic. And my dad kind of was a patriotic guy, also kind of very like macho kind of guy. And I always felt like that's like the pinnacle of what you can do, right? I mean,
Mhm.
especially, going to Afghanistan, doing what you do over there, I mean, you can't, you're never going to get those experiences really anywhere else. You know what I mean? I was like, man, this is something that I want to do. I didn't want to leave the army because I went to Iraq and I really I didn't get what I wanted was like the full experience. Right. And I was like, I didn't get that in Iraq. In Afghanistan was a different story. Right. So I got more of those experiences and I was like, man, okay, all right. After that, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I would say that, I mean, I don't know if it sounds funny, but I would say some of that shit kind of influenced me.
I think that's common
Psychology,
though.
whatnot.
Yeah.
That's pretty common. Like I remember when I was a kid, the movie for me was Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Hit fire,
Dude,
M16s, dude.
That was the movie, man. And I remember as a kid thinking like, dude, I want to do that shit. I didn't end up joining, but Commando, like that was masculinity at its finest. And I remember I was watching that movie when I was like 8 years old, and I've gone back as an adult and watched that movie. I'm like, what the fuck were my parents thinking? Let me watch that because
Yeah.
it was very risque for that early on. I mean, there was boobs and death and all sorts of shit in that movie. It's still a
Broken
good
biceps. Yeah, yeah. I always wanted to hit fire an M16 with a 30 round magazine, but have it fire like 1,200 rounds before a mag change. Like that was like that's what I wanted to do. Like, all right, dude, this was sort of like wizard here. Now, yeah, I don't know if had any movies inspire me though. That's interesting.
I wouldn't say it like was it wasn't like probably the main thing that inspired me to join, but I wouldn't say that. I would say that it helped. I mean, that's
It's part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but like, I mean, I know some people join for benefits, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I joined, I never had any,
No.
I didn't care about going to school or nothing, man. I could care less. What I wanted to do is do what I think some people do to join the army. What I think is why everyone would want to join the army, right? So, I mean, do shit that you can't do anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I like that question. I like that. Like we asked Jeff that question
Mm-hmm.
because everybody does things in life for a different reason, and joining the military is like a big thing to do.
Yeah.
So I always wonder, like, because I know some people like they're like that was my last option.
Right.
That's all I could do to get out of where I was or whatever. But
Yeah.
I always want I'm getting an education doing this podcast on like veterans because this podcast has turned into like a veteran centric podcast big time, and that wasn't what we were planning in the beginning, but it's kind of what's happening. I like it because
Right. Well, it's because a lot of that too is just the fact that, like we've talked about a lot, we're not liberal, we're not, far right. We're like people who just use common sense and have good values and character development.
Yeah.
Still within us. And so you're gonna attract people like that. People that are fucking hate themselves and stuck to one side or the other don't want to listen to people speak honestly and don't want to listen to something that may hit them and realize that's me, and it's going to make them feel like shit about themselves because their ego can't handle it. So you're going to find people who are a lot of veterans who have that humility, who've been through some shit, and like, yeah, totally common sense. That's all you got to do. Be a good person, be common sense. Don't be complacent in your life.
Yeah.
I've
noticed with me, man, I get along very well with guys that are veterans.
Yeah.
And I just like the mentality most veterans have, and not all, nobody's the same, obviously, but I've always just gotten along like with the mentality of those guys. And like you just said, I think it's because of that's the way most of them think, kind of like me.
Yeah.
Kind of middle of the road on a lot of things. And
no, it was always yeah.
So Mario, did you vote for Trump or?
I voted for Trump, but I mean, I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump both times, man. But I'm more in between. I don't like all the shit he says or he does or whatnot. But it's. I also don't like people telling me how to think or whatnot.
Yeah. That was actually a joke question, but because I always mess with people with that. But no, like I think that's a good point you just made. Was people assume like if someone's like a certain nationality or there's something that they did or didn't vote a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's like that doesn't make the the difference there always.
Well, like just like people say, "Oh, you're a veteran. Oh, so you voted for Trump."
Yeah.
Why is it political? Because I served, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was the same way. I absolutely would not have voted for Biden. Not because I like Trump. I don't. It's just I think some of the policies were much better and more well put together. You know, and also, yeah, like they said, I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't want a fascist calling me a fascist because they don't know what it means because they're not educated. And that's not, you don't have to be educated. That's a simple term with a simple understanding what fascism is. And then you have a bunch of fascist kids saying you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't show that on Instagram, you can't do all that, but you're a fascist. Like, no, that's not how it works. Dude,
people assume because I'm a fat white dude that wears like a ball cap all the time that I'm super Republican.
Right.
And I'm not.
Where's your F-150?
Yeah, and I'm just not, man. I don't understand how somebody can see everything on one side, no matter what side it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree with everything on either side. And I think if you do, your priorities are mixed up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think like you have like the right, the left. Freedom is what you should be looking at. Like who wants the more freedom? And I think that's important. But
yeah. And the more back to that point again from earlier, like the more chaotic your life is, the less politics really matter. You know, do politics really matter when you're in a war zone? No, obviously they don't. You know, does football matter? No, fuck no. It actually used to irritate me. People were like, "Oh man, I wonder what like so and so's doing right now in the games." Like, shut the fuck up. I don't care. They don't give a fuck about you.
I remember when you were after you were out. You've been out for a long time. Like a lot of the guys we hang out with are super into sports, and you're like, "Why do you guys fucking care?" Like you said, that's exactly what you just said. They don't care about you.
Yeah,
fuck those guys.
Yeah,
but
they don't fucking care
to
about
some
you.
people, man, sports is fucking everything.
I know. Yeah, and that's sad. Go on a hike. Go do something cool so that you don't have to focus on what other people are doing.
I don't necessarily think it's sad. Like
You're right,
I think
it's not sad. Sorry.
It's good to have interests.
I'm an asshole. That's what it is.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's good to have interests in things.
Yeah.
And if
I was
sports
gonna wear a cowboy shirt. Just kidding.
but like if sports is your interest, then that's cool.
Yeah.
But I think
I
anything.
watch a little bit of football. That's it.
Yeah. And I haven't really watched much lately, but like I think if anything that you're into is your whole identity, then yeah, something's fucked up. Like if sports is everything you're about, or if politics is everything you're about, you're not a very interesting person.
Right.
You don't have much going on.
Right. You're not fixing yourself. You're trying to fix everybody else and focus on something else. And
but there's nothing wrong with like I love fucking MMA, but that's not my whole personality. Yeah. There's more to me than liking a sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I don't want to call it a sport, but is almost just as fine tuned. Sometimes it can be like more, right? Like I remember that one mission, like I'm not gonna go into details and stuff, but like where I remember calling up, it was where I was engaging like that battalion commander, that Afghan battalion commander stuff, and I was in some other guys and one guy that was unarmed, but whatever. He had it coming, dude. He owned the whole compound. So it was like coordinating with you guys, sending in mortars on that mission. And it's kind of interesting because you guys don't see what we're seeing. You guys were shooting the 120s.
Yeah.
You guys are shooting 120s, and it's like, okay, you're a few clicks away. Like all you're relying literally on what I'm observing on the battlefield, where the guys are at, and the distance from my location we're using a BRG.
Yeah.
And it's like how accurate that was. I still remember a lot of that in my mind. Like it was starting to get pretty bad. There was more than we thought. They were like fucking, I don't know, like cockroaches. They just came out of nowhere. There was like, oh, there's one guy, then there's like 3, maybe 5. And then it's, there's like maybe 20. I don't know. There was everywhere. And then all of a sudden, so we're calling in quick. My legs are shaking. I don't even I'm just like reacting. And then all of a sudden the shake and bake was coming in, dude, coming in real hot. Like that's a sport. Like it's gross to say that, but it really is. Cause like we were coordinating over the radio. We're quick, adrenaline's rushing. And then next thing you know, like you just see a dude and then you just see fucking a big puff of like dirt, just like a big billowing thing of dirt. Like,
I think that's why they compare things like football to the military so often, because it's similar.
Right.
Like, they say we're in the trenches and shit like that in football,
Right.
which no, you're nowhere near fucking anything as serious as war, but you have somebody commanding everybody. You have, everybody has their place, and there's similarities. And so I think that's why, like what you just said, that sounds like a sport. You're coordinating to have a certain thing happen, and that makes sense.
Yeah. You don't want to get overtaken. And it's just interesting, like how like in tune you can be. I just think even when everything's that hectic, it's that hectic and your adrenaline's rushing and you're still getting people to drop mortars right on top of dudes. Like, fuck yeah. It's very accurate. It's, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like, no one knows what they're doing. And this is just a shit can. This is a shit show,
Yeah, man. Shake and bakes, man. Those are just for, I guess, people that don't know what that is, right? So essentially it's Willie P and HE. So Willie P, white phosphorus and high explosive, right? And you basically white phosphorus kind of burns you or whatnot. Not burn, it burns. So, it's used to also for like screening for like, it's basically smoke too. So that's used for screening missions and whatnot. But yeah, man, that was kind of our cup of tea right there, man. We would always try to do shake and bake whenever possible. And we try to, like, a lot of times we do proximity, right? So like that way it blows up kind of above the ground a little bit too. So yeah, man, that was our shit right there. Kenzie loved that.
Yeah, I know. I remember we got awarded with mustaches after that. It was for me it was just the numbers were interesting. It was funny because I had a 300 Win Mag and it was like, all right, Kevin got a bunch of kills with a 300 Win Mag and the mortar team dropped 300 mortar rounds in one firefight. So we got it was called like the 300 Mustache Club.
So they let you grow mustaches?
Yeah, we grew mustaches for like, what was it, like 3 weeks or a month or something?
Speaking of, you should grow your fucking mustache back.
I know.
You if I could grow a good mustache like you, I would, but I can't.
That Nordic in them.
That's right.
Viking.
Well, like for like
Viking
one episode of this, you had like the mustache and like the little goatee thing going on. That you pull it off and then you fucking shave it off.
It's because when I get an anxiety, I don't want to like everyone judge me. When I get anxious, I start shaving body hair off my body.
That's a very common thing.
Like I go get a haircut or I shave my face or like start like trimming up my legs or something.
There's some people that just fucking pull their hair out. Literally.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
that's funny, man. Yeah, those are a lot of good stories though, man. Like definitely there's a lot, man. You know what I mean? I know I don't know if you feel this way sometimes, man, because sometimes like when normal people would be stressed about certain things, man, like I find it hard to be stressed sometimes because, when you're in situations like that, you're in some of the most stressful situations anybody can be in. So now it's like, what can stress me out now? You know what I mean? And I think about it sometimes. I'm like, well, there's guys that we went to deployment with that would give to have some sort of feeling or stress like that now. You know what I mean? And so I think about that. I'm like, I'm good, man. I just got to keep going, keep moving on. But yeah, definitely, man. I agree with you.
Yeah, no. And everyone's, and after the fact, sometimes it's those, it can be negative where you have like triggers, like something stresses you out in a way you react to it back to the way you were trained to react. You react with hatred and violence, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it can be something, it can be nothing. Somebody cutting you off from traffic or taking your parking spot at REI and you react back to that. It's I'll fucking show you, versus like, oh man, what a dick. All right. See, it's like, it's hard. You have to try to overcome that training and try to become a real person again,
Yeah.
What Mario was just saying, like that's been a theme on this podcast.
Yeah.
Is talking about when you have more important things and you have struggle, the little things don't seem so big anymore.
Right.
That's what we ought to do when we start selling t-shirts, something about struggle. We talk about it so fucking much on here.
Well, yeah. Yeah. If we knew a meteor was coming and it was going to hit us in 2 years,
everybody'd come together.
Yeah. No one's going to be worrying about what fucking name they're called or what sexuality they are. That doesn't matter anymore. It's okay. Where's my family?
It's time to survive.
I'm going to love some people and make sure this goes out well, Like you stop worrying about that shit. If you worry about that because it's too easy just to survive in America,
It's all perspective, because there is people who have a quote unquote easy life.
Right.
And
Sure.
they don't know struggle. Their struggle's different than mine than yours.
Yeah.
And yeah, to them it's a big fucking deal. But in the grand scheme of things, like there's way worse places you could be, man.
Yeah.
You could be dead, man. I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, you could, like I said, like there's some guys maybe didn't make it back, man. And those guys, they, they wish they could have those kind of feelings or problems. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
They wish they could be sitting in traffic, stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
Well, all but one of the guys that died in our deployment, from a company alone, all but one had at least 2 kids, if not 3 or 4. It's like,
that's rough.
That's a lot of kids are going to be growing up without a dad. And it's not because he abandoned them or was a shitbag, and they have to try to cope with that for the rest of their life. Like, and try to come to terms with that and be good people and be supportive and be supported, it's rough.
The death is rough anytime for people, but when you put kids into the mix, it's sad. It's unfortunate. Like I had a good friend, we both kind of grew up with, who passed away this year. And he's got 2 little boys, man. And it's like, fuck, they just lost their dad.
Yeah.
Like, it's unfortunate, but also you can't do anything about it. So it's like, you can't dwell on things like that either.
Yeah.
It makes our kids make everything a little more important, A
little harder.
Yeah. A little harder, but death for sure. When they lose somebody, that's not easy.
Yeah. It's almost like it's selfish to have kids.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes that's the case,
Yeah.
There's some people that have kids who can't take care of their kids.
Yeah.
And I look at that as very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But who am I to judge?
Right. No, I mean, that's spot on. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we both know people like that.
Yeah.
I remember one of the times, I think we were, I think it was the day that they were shooting they shot those 300 rounds. I think I was there with you guys. I was doing handhelds, using the handheld 60. That was a long day, man. It was an interesting day, We were basically just running around. Or also that other time where we did that baited ambush, remember?
Yeah.
With George.
Oh my God, George. That's what I was talking about.
I
guess I was trying not to get too much into it, but like, fucking George. So one of the bodies we decided just to take with us. I think it was me and Dane sorry, fucking throw names. Me and Burgess, whatever, fuck it. Went out.
I have a question. Can you get in trouble for, like, if you said something on here that's that long ago, if it was something that shouldn't have happened, could you get in shit for that now?
I don't know.
I've thought about that a few times when you're talking about stuff. I'm like, I don't know the rules and shit, but
I feel like right now what I'm saying is probably the most candid I've been, though. So this is.
I think if you're still in the Army, though, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've wondered, just because Kevin on here and you were on another podcast too, talking about stuff, and I don't know the rules. I don't know all that shit.
Well, yeah. But on the other one, he was asking questions, so I just figured he was comfortable with it.
Yeah. Well, it's not a comfortability thing. Fuck that. I mean, you're just speaking. You're speaking, but I just wonder, because I have no problem with what you talk about. I mean, it's your fucking experiences.
Yeah.
But I think about, like, could that ever come back? Like, if there was something that shouldn't happen that happened, could that come back on you?
All this was legit. I mean, like with old George, he's probably 16, maybe 15, 16.
Yes. Yeah, he was a young guy, teenager.
Yeah. And so one of the other guys we had, right when it kicked off with like a couple RPGs. And then like he put such a tight group into that kid's chest. It was beautiful. 3 rounds, just like, dude, it was so tight. Like, damn. And he had crawled somehow, right in his chest, and he somehow still crawled, I don't know, 40 feet. But so me and another guy go and pick his body up, and when he fell, they have like this little like thing of like cologne or perfume in their pocket, and it broke when he fell. I can never get that smell out. That
like
perfume
musk,
on
like really strong musk.
The musk, dude. It was like a musky smell along with his dead body. We were carrying, like, god damn. And then we had to, afterwards, we went and threw him in the bag and in the truck, and he sat outside in that bag for a few days before his mom came to get him.
Oh,
like, dude, he stinks.
Yeah, that was.
Because I remember we were curious, and we were like, I wonder what he smells like and looks like right now. It was like 5 days later, and it was like death. It was just disgusting. Like,
I would say that was one of our first experience. I mean, my first, not I would, yeah, probably like our first up close experience with something like that.
yeah, up close.
My,
I
we were
think
there somewhat.
prior to that, I'd been in, I think, 2 solid firefights, and the rest of them were just the cop getting shot at, which that happened almost. I feels like almost every day. But yeah, that was the first like real big one, and it was that up close with dudes, too. Which I said that's why it was so important that like we had the mortars that day, because out of nowhere you had all these guys coming out of nowhere, and fucking Randy almost got shot by the saw gunner. Like, dude,
They shot a goat or a lamb or something like
yeah,
that.
they're shooting a saw, and like I don't want to mention his name too, but I love this kid.
Yeah.
He was standing right behind me, and he watched me shoot that battalion commander, and he was supposed to be like the rear security. He was a grenadier, and he was sitting there watching me, just like literally like over my shoulder, like whoa, like. And like he was the one later that was like, did you hear how loud that guy screamed? We heard it over everything. Like, cause I think I shot him in the stomach or something. And I was like, actually I didn't. But anyway, it was just funny because he was doing that. And there was like guys sneaking up behind us from that little hut that no one noticed, because he was our rear security. He was part of it. And I think he ended up sending a couple rounds their way, HE rounds. But yeah, dude, yeah, you're right though. That was probably the first big one that baited, and that worked. Afterwards, they're like, "Man, this really works."
Yeah,
yeah.
So essentially, they were like hanging out in a hut. They were basically over, and I guess like at night they went into like this abandoned hut, and I guess baited us. I wasn't part of like the baited party or whatnot, and we walked up, and we anticipated they would see us, and then they would try to shoot at us. Mm-hmm. Not knowing that these guys were in this hut, just waiting to just drop them. You know what I mean? And so that's what happened. And I even remember telling one of the guys, because we were somewhat barely into the deployment at that time. I remember telling one of my guys, one of my mortars, "Hey, all right, probably gonna get shot at here in a bit, so just be prepared." And then we were. It was kind of on cue, right? So they got there, they shot RPG or whatnot, and
yeah,
they went over our heads or whatnot, and then.
Dude, I was terrified when that happened, because I knew. Like we had saw it, because you see like that white smoke, right? And we saw it go your guys' way, and immediately I was just like I was like, oh, they're helpless. I gotta help them. Like, no, you're a bunch of grown men. And I was like we knew you were about to take contact, being the bait, And when that first one went off, it was like, oh shit, like I hope they're okay. So I'm glad. Yeah, it was glad it went over your guys' heads and everything. And
yep.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then
We tried tracking some guy down. We followed some blood trails and whatnot. We couldn't find him for the life of them. And I remember.
So that guy I remember that was the guy. I still think this is the most impressive shot I ever made in my life. He was a big motherfucker for Afghan. He's well over 6 foot.
I remember you telling me that. He was a fat.
Caught him in the calf while he was running. And then, later you tried tracking him down. He would gun over a wall. But we had found out later that because ISR had picked it up, they carried him like in a wheelbarrow or something, and then he made his way to CAF.
Yeah,
like I was just tending to my land. Like, no, you weren't, motherfucker. Yeah,
he showed up like for help later on.
Yeah, they took him to CAF. Yeah. But the bait team, they were like trying to track this guy down or something, and
there's this guy that I was he was a mortarman, right? So he was like one of my guys. So he was kind of timid. I'm not gonna name his name either, but he was kind of timid, and just kind of he wasn't a very confident guy. So we were tracking this guy down, and one of the other platoon sergeants was like, "Don't worry, when we find him, I'm gonna get you a controlled pair. We're gonna be all right." So basically, when he found him, he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and go ahead and not put him out of his misery, but you're gonna go ahead and give him a controlled pair or whatnot."
Yeah, right.
Make sure he's secured. He's not a threat anymore or whatnot. So
yeah, like everybody does that. Like, I don't think I ever did. No, I didn't. Absolutely did not. But like, when guys
allowed still,
huh?
Is it allowed still? Can you do that still? I don't know. There was a rule behind it, right?
It wasn't started in like World War II or Vietnam. You walk past a dead body, you shoot it twice in the ass to make sure it's not faking or whatever.
Yeah.
Control pair. Yeah. I never did the control pair.
Yeah. Yeah, I know somebody like that George guy. Somebody hooked him up whenever they got to
Yeah.
him. So I remember that. But yeah, man. I mean, there's no confidence. I don't know. I think if something like that can't boost your confidence, I don't know. It could go one of two ways, right? I guess so. Either you're
Yeah.
gonna have big confidence booster, or maybe you're not. You're gonna have more problems after that. But
Right.
yeah, man, it was an interesting day.
Yeah. No, and there was a few like that. And there was a couple I remember I missed out on. I always felt like I was so like anxious if people were going out and I found out where they were going and I wasn't going. I was like, for some reason in my mind, I was like, if I'm not there, I can't help. They need my help.
Yeah.
You know, like it was just, I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I remember that one specifically where the I can't remember what platoon it was. I remember if you were with them or not, but they took contact and ended up having to run up. Like everyone, it was hot as fuck. It was like over 100, and everyone was like sprinting up this goddamn that one hill.
Oh, I was there. I was there.
Okay, yeah, sprint up that goddamn hill, and everyone was just like dying out of breath, or just everyone's dehydrated. And then a Dishka from like a click away starts firing on everybody on that hill. Like fuck, like
Yeah.
that just sucks because that's like one of the times where it's like you need someone with a scoped rifle who can see what's going on, where they're taking a contact from and do something about it. Is like I started feeling like shit that I wasn't there. You know, like god damn it, like yeah,
extreme FOMO.
Yeah. Randy was there.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was there. And the other sniper.
No, that guy.
You know, yeah. So he was there too. So, but yeah, I remember it, man. I remember we were sprinting up the hill. We were coming from like that little school where the police would hang out sometimes too.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, so we were sprinting up there. I don't know why we did that. That seems kind of. I don't know why we did that in the first place. I think because there was people up there. They had like a what do you call it, like a little OP up there or something.
Okay.
And, I think we went up there to kind of, I guess, help them or whatnot. We could have just stayed at the school probably, but anyways, we stayed there. We went up there, and yeah, man, they're shooting at us with some kind of some kind of machine gun or whatnot, and you could see the rounds. Like I guess it was coming from kind of far. They were kind of like skipping off the ground here and there, and then eventually, I think they dropped a 500-pound bomb on them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the military loves dropping those big ass bombs on one dude in the Dishka, dude. Because remember how many times we'd be in the talk watching a guy placing an IED around our AO, and like, yeah, they're gonna drop a 500-pound bomb in this guy. Just watch. We'd watch it, but it's like that's a whole lot of money for one dude.
That balloon would catch a lot of people, man. That balloon that had the I forgot what it's called, Peaches balloon or whatnot.
Something like that.
Yeah, it would catch a lot. I remember they saw some kid, man. He was trying to like, what they do is, I guess, because the IEDs, the pressure plates, they have their battery. They have some kind of battery or whatnot, I guess. Mm-hmm. So the kids would go and if they knew we were going to come through there, or they saw us walking, they'd send like a kid or something to kind of like go and plug them in, right? So I don't know why he was like jumping on it to test it out or something. I guess it blew them up, and they started crawling and something like that. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I remember there was a couple times where we had the Afghani guys that military had brought in kids to our cop.
Yeah,
you knew they weren't going to make it, but we flew them out anyway. The calf. Like
fuck out of them.
God, these little kids just coming in with like missing legs and shit. Like sucks.
Yeah, man. I remember they would beat the shit out of them, man.
Yeah,
they caught people. I tried to go over there for something one time. He had some guy in some guy in a restroom, man. They were just they were beating the shit out of him. They're like, no, mister, go away, mister. You don't need to be here, mister. All right, cool.
Yeah, dude. They're rough. I remember that one time we almost got in a fight with them over water.
Oh yeah, man.
I was getting rough. Like they're pulling out their AKs and shit. Like it was like streets of Chicago fucking on the cop, dude. Like, oh shit.
Then these are guys you're supposed to be working with.
Mm-hmm.
We live together.
Yeah,
man. That's a. I don't know whose decision that was, but I mean, there's a lot. I don't know. I didn't feel comfortable with it, but I guess after a while, you're just like, fuck it. I mean, there was, I think, somebody in our brigade, right, that got killed, or not brigade. Yeah, in our brigade, they got killed, right, in a different battalion or whatnot.
Yeah,
because
I
of
think it was that.
Hancock.
Yeah, I can't. What was it called? Strike? Not strike.
124.
It was the one we would look at night. The only thing you could see on the ground level was that hill that had a cop on it. It was all lit up, like super bright. I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah.
that was called though, but yeah, it was this weird. It was this weird cop that was on the top of some massive hill that just had tons of T-walls around it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny, man. That's interesting, but yeah, that's horrible, man. That's why I didn't like living with those guys. But you know, what can you do about it? You know, you got no say in the matter.
Yeah.
Just do what you're told. Be vigilant. Stay strapped.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. That's it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the Wild West of Afghanistan because there was so many, just so much shit to happen. It was just crazy. Yeah.
I remember this is kind of like something that I remember kind of vividly. So like we would occasionally we would go to maybe Kandahar, which isn't very far, but I don't know how far was Kandahar from where we were
I
at?
think technically it was only 40 miles. It just took 2 hours plus to get there.
So like we would go to Kandahar, right, and come back, get supplies or whatnot. And I remember when we would get into our area, like all the other roads were like badass. You didn't see anything like that was out of the ordinary. But as soon as you get to our area, burned cars on the side of the road, all kinds of shit like that. I was like, man, this is like some Mad Max shit over here. That's what I always
remember. We had 2 solid interpreters because they were from the US, right?
Yeah.
Every last interpreter we got that was Afghani, they wouldn't tell them where they were going, and they'd get there and they'd say, "We're on Tulakan, like we're not going out." Remember, they wouldn't. They refused, like send us back. Like they would not. They knew that we were at, and they knew it was fucked up.
They'd be scared as fuck.
Yeah, like you get there and it's just like, dude. I remember that one time. I just remember this. Like, I think it was you and me and Randy. I think and some other people. They sent us to Zengabad. It was like our battalion, the battalion fob, and we stole a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
We just went and stole a bunch of supplies. Like we stole was like a generator or something. Like tried to steal.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Randy and McGurl, I think said, I don't know, we just grabbed it and took off. I was like,
they took what they took was one of those like wall AC units, and they're like, "We don't have anything to plug that into, dude. You just stole a bunch of shit we can't use." Like,
out of all the shit you've talked about, this is what's going to come back and get you.
Yeah.
Theft in Afghanistan.
We stole a bunch of cookies.
It was for official use. It's just somebody was accounting for it and probably couldn't find it afterwards.
Yeah. This go.
What's the time right now?
I don't know. It's 6 after.
Oh wow.
Good. Yeah. Something like 5:10.
Yeah, that was funny, man. That was interesting. And like you go to these bigger cops, they have more amenities. You know what I mean? So the bigger cop you go to, they're gonna have like a lot more stuff. So I mean, they're gonna have better chow, they're gonna have better drinks, and have AC, all kinds of stuff. Where you go to a smaller cop, it starts getting more ghetto. So
yeah. No, dude, we
were structured.
We're as ghetto as it gets. We're like washing each other on pallets. I still remember that one time.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking Kinsler, like one of the many like amazing Kinsler stories is me and Ybarra just bullshitting with him. He's just butt naked on this pallet, just like washing himself because he had gotten this new shampoo someone sent him that smelled really good, and it was like this body shampoo.
Oh yeah,
like, smelled super good. He didn't want to share it, and first sergeant and company commander come rolling up on this little like gator. And he doesn't even like flinch. He's just like staring right at him. It's like, "So go on, sir." Just like dick hanging out, like. And it had like, and I think they both just kept on playing to it because it was funny because they had a legitimate like serious conversation for like what was it 10 minutes while he's just facing him just butt naked, like yeah totally, yeah, I know we should probably do that. Just like, dude, they were just like trying to make it awkward, so just staring in his eyes, like.
Yeah, man, I remember that. I think it was like orange jasmine or something like that. I think his wife would send it to him so he could smell like I don't know, something like that. So he could smell the scent of a woman or something like that. I don't know. It was fun. Man. It was good shit though. But yeah, man, I remember it was ghetto, man. It was we were washing ourselves in like with water bottles, shit, man. I mean, I think for a good while we were doing that, right? I remember one time, I don't know, we had porta johns. I don't know, we always had porta johns. We had porta johns, porta potties or whatnot. I remember one time the Afghan dude that did it, right? Like he didn't. I guess they left the truck there for some reason. So then they're like, hey, somebody's got to suck the shit out of the porta shooters, man. So I did it, and I accidentally started throwing it back into it because I didn't know how to operate the damn thing. And then I was like, fuck, and I got shit on myself and everything. I was like, fuck, this is disgusting. I
Yeah.
was like, all right, fuck it, though. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I even burned shit before, man.
Yeah.
In a crack.
I did get better, obviously, because eventually the engineers brought in those 2 shower stalls. Yeah, the shitter truck guy, which was super. He was super cool, and like he stayed with us because the last one would go home every once a week, and so they cut his head off. So this one just lived with us. He's like, "Fuck it, I want to die."
I was going to ask, like, how's it work for people that are from there that become an interpreter or do anything to help you guys?
It's just like when Native Americans helped the white guys, as interpreters when we had the Native American wars going on. They were considered as less than equal.
Like a traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was wondering, like, what do they do when
Well,
if they got them, they'd scalp them and kill them.
like when their job's done with you guys? Can they even go back home? Like
they will, as long as they can try to remain, somewhat hidden, I guess. But
do they pay them pretty well? Is that why they do it?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're trying to take care of the families.
Yeah.
The American ones get paid really well, man.
Yeah.
The ones that are from there, probably not so.
Yeah.
I've always wondered because I mean, obviously, they're like being a traitor, quote unquote, to their people and helping the Americans out. So I've wondered, like, what happens to them?
Right.
I mean,
They try to go cut their heads off if they find them.
It's a wild world.
remember they found this guy, man, who was burned on the side of the road one time, right? Like wrapped up, and he was burned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right by our cop, like they threw him on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yes, gangster shit. Yes, gangster shit right there. Yeah.
That is mafia shit right there, man. Some cartel nautical stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlike we were talking about, people here think they got it rough when they're sitting in traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perspective, man.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was, part of it was cool. Part of it was cool because like you and I, we got along really well with the ODA guys. Because they were like, because we earned the respect really quickly because we weren't just like pussing out firefights and just not doing anything. So we're like, these guys are badass, And so you and I specifically, they were just like, we just go hang out with them, and they gave me a gun and like a cool guy gun and some other bunch of ammo and shit, and they're always helping us out, and it's really cool, Yeah, it was really.
Yeah, man. I remember. I think I went to go shoot mortars with one of them once. He wanted me to help him out or something like that. That was pretty cool. Because we were shooting mortars a lot, right? I mean, handheld basically. So by that, I mean, if nobody knows, I guess for people who don't know what handheld is. So basically, you can shoot a mortar system like you can set it up how Kevin was talking about earlier and shoot from a distance where he gives you, for instance, I don't know, like if he's somewhere. He gives me his grid, and a distance and direction, and I'll go off of that. Or I can have a handheld system where I'm kind of winging it, and I gotta kind of estimate the distance and all that stuff, and I just kind of shoot it, and then where it lands, I maybe adjust or whatnot. So that's what we would do as like a response whenever we would get shot at and whatnot. So kind of just a good way to return fire and kind of make sure that we kind of keep fire superiority and whatnot. But it was, that's how we would do it. It was interesting. I love that handheld method, man. And Kinsler was the man with running the guns back at the base. But yeah, dude, it was a good time. It was a good time. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And yeah, you're right.
No, and I enjoyed.
You can't. Yeah.
Remember that time Randy was on mid-tour leave for like 45 fucking days. Took it forever to get back. So like I was just taking like whenever like didn't have a mortar mission, I was just you and I were just going out. Like you were just my, the second sniper.
Oh.
Some of that one overnight one we did specifically, we're like,
I remember that.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you had just gone out to that same position and like whacked a bunch of guys. So our commander was like, "Let's go see if we can do it too." So like we just went out and this overnight mission and tried to do the same thing. It was hilarious. But yeah, it was
yeah.
cool. Just like, yeah, dude, just like put yourself on a trip ticket. Let's go, man. Let's just go party. Like,
It was fun, man. It was fun. I remember that. Yeah, dude. I remember just walking around. You could see like in a distance, you'll see like Apaches or the Kiowas or whatnot, and something, or you hear an A-10 doing a gun run or whatnot. And you're like, man, this is pretty badass. Like I was like, you know what? This is what I wanted to do, man. It's like I want to walk around here, this kind of shit. Fucking get kind of motivated me a little bit.
yeah,
That was just
yeah. Because every time you hear that 30 millimeter gun run go, you know, like shitbag just got torn apart. You know, it's motivating.
Yup. You do the battle damage assessment.
Yeah, I always tell people that like when you do battle damage assessment on like those gun runs, you just find dicks and like feet and heads and faces because it just rips the body apart. You know,
Just all the appendages fly off.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
It's not pretty, man. It's not pretty. It's like almost, I think it's almost like a really bad accident, but not worse, man. I think we would do a hide system or whatnot on him. I remember I was trying to wipe this dude's eyeball off. That way I could kind of get a good clear picture of his eye or whatnot. I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It's Uncle Sam, man.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Somebody's got to do Uncle Sam's dirty work, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody's got to do it.
Disenfranchised American kids.
Yep. But yeah, man, that's interesting times. I enjoyed the majority of the experiences there. Meeting people. Like, you know, me and Kevin, I think we since we lived in the same tent, that's why I think we got really close and we went out on a lot of missions together. So, you know, I think if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have, you know, even with like Kinzer or whatnot, we wouldn't have met or kind of formed that bond that we have now. So like I could text Kevin and we'll still be like, what's up? You know, same kind of dynamic between us, you know, nobody's not here, you know, none of that shit. So we kind of just keep it real and, you know, that's how it is.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I still, I feel the same way. Yeah.
And I don't keep up with very many people, man. I really, from the Army, I really like consistently just you and Kinsler, man. Everybody else, here and there, I'll say probably got the closest with you guys. Some of the other guys kind of just, I guess it's like anywhere else too, man. You get some people you just have a professional relationship with, and other people you get a little closer, you know. So, you know, I would say, you know, like I said, like Kinsler was our section. He was my section sergeant, and he's a smart dude, man. I'd harp on. He's probably one of the smartest guys I've met, man. That dude knew a little bit about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the cop mayor, and he was like the section mortar section sergeant. But he was a cop mayor because he was a smart dude and knew how to fix generators and shit. I was like, you know, like who, like that's so random. Like what the fuck? Like how do you just know how to fix generators out of nowhere? This dude's like fucking the whole power grid. He's not a fucking electrician or anything. I'm like, what the fuck? They're like, all right.
Like
Fine, I hope you out.
All the guys you served with, the one name I've heard multiple times is Mario's. Like you brought him up 100 times over the years. Mm-hmm. So it's like obviously you guys had a bond there because I've heard you talk about other guys. Yeah, but I've heard you say Ybarra about 8,000 times when you're talking about that time.
Well,
so,
we were partners in crime.
Mm-hmm. You hold a special place in his soft little heart.
My little duty puss.
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up though.
Okay.
But, all righty, brother.
Dude, thanks for coming on and doing this. It was kind of cool to listen to you guys like go down memory lane a little bit because like Kevin's told me a lot of stories and stuff like that, but it's kind of cool to hear another side of it too.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good time. Never done this before, so
yeah, maybe someday we can do this in person. These fucking Zoom ones, man. we've
Yeah.
talked about this a few times. It sucks because like you try not to cut each other off, but there's like that lag, and you're trying to like get your word in, and it's fucking, it sucks, but it's what we got to do for now. So
Yeah. Right.
So one of these days, maybe we'll get one in person.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Yeah, appreciate it, man. It was a good time. I took the day off today just to kind of, I was going to take the day off anyways. I use my leave whenever I want. So, well, that's what it's for. But
Right.
yeah, man, I took the day off to kind of hang out with you guys, see what you guys are up to. It's the first experience for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
We appreciate you coming on. And then Kevin will keep in touch with you, but we're going to need some things from you to get this promoted. So
Yeah. Some pictures. You can either email us some pictures.
Sexy pictures.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, I got you.
Some dick pics, you know.
We're down for anything.
Yeah, you can send us some pics to the email,
Oh,
or we can just rip pictures off your Instagram, or both.
That's true. But yeah, if you have like
Yeah, it don't matter to me.
if you have like 5 or 6 pictures of yourself you really like, send them to Kevin, and we'll get them up, because I'm
Send you my headshot for when I want to become an actor.
and I know it's like
Mario Lopez.
if you can send them today, that'd be best, because I'm gonna try to get this posted by tomorrow.
All right, cool, man. Sounds good.
We recorded.
I'll send you.
I was saying we recorded.
Yeah, I'll send you whatever you want.
Today, and the episode we recorded yesterday, the audio was completely fucked, so we didn't get a release one today like I usually do.
Yeah.
So we'll get this one out as soon as we can.
All righty, man. Sounds good, guys. I'll keep in touch with you guys. I appreciate it. I like what you guys are doing, man. I was listening to you guys the other day. The one with the black rifle guy. What's his name? Evan.
Evan.
Yeah, good dude, man. I like their product too, man. They have a good product. I love their coffee and whatnot. But
Yeah, they have really good coffee.
I think you guys have a good dynamic going on, and keep it up, man. I'll see you guys around.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, guys.